All right. Okay, so this is the telecommunication site acquisition tracking video. I'm going to go through and explain the technique in which I track all site acquisition projects. I call this, I'm not sure what its proper name is, but I call this an SDF. That stands for a status, duration, and forecast. So we've got a handful of tasks here, and we're going to track all the way through site acquisition complete, which would be right here. So some of the Microsoft Excel functions that I use, workday, if then, XLOOKUP, count a, sum if, along with conditional formatting. So those are all helped or used to help the schedule move along. So this tracking technique, it's best used when collecting site acquisition scheduling changes while on conference calls with said vendor. But I've kept the file size small, so it's easy to send email to the vendor if needed, which I will show later. All right, so with that being said, let me start going through this. Let me start with a dashboard. So dashboard basically takes all of the data from each of these tabs, which you can always add more or take away vendor tabs that you're trying to track, and brings it all back to here, lands it on a dashboard, and then you can see I've got it totaled up. So I'm going to take a screen capture because we're going to change these values and we can see exactly how it changes. So let me take a screen capture. All right. So let's start with SADAC vendor number one. Let's say that we're going to add a new, I've got these pre-populated with 3 sites, but I'm going to add a new one, right? Okay, so, and these site IDs, they need to be unique in each one of the tabs. So let's say I'm going to assign this for tomorrow, right? So let's give it that date. So you can see it lights up and it starts to pre-populate. It's got some more questions that the vendors can answer. We can see NEPA, SHPO, 1A2C near study. So for right now, I will just populate this as no. We can always go back and change. So for this, here's our first status. We're going to say it's in process. In fact, we're going to say it's in process for all of these tasks. Give me just a sec here. This is your initial forecast, which we'll see it's defined as a baseline. We're going to pull a baseline. Okay, so now we've got all of those showing in process. Let's just keep the duration with what we have here. So I'm going to put 11 here, 11 here, there. And as you can see, I'm using data validation. Once you password protect, it will only allow people to change what you want them to change and to make sure that they're not accidentally inputting improper data. So you can see the schedule, it's starting to form as we're doing this. Okay, already there and there. All right. So now we're ready to what I call strike the baseline. So that's where we're going to take this initial forecast from SAQ complete, and we are going to put it right here. You can see it's starting to light things up a little bit, so that's good. All right, and then the next thing, then this is you only do this once. So we're going to put that here. The reason we see this SIDEC schedule change is yes, is because this date is not matching with the SIDEC completion date. So, and that's just because the day advanced and I was reprogramming this. So we're going to put that here, and then we're going to put this here. We can see that that's true. Now this is showing as a -4, which means that it's different from what was previously, and that's because the day advanced and I'm doing a training video. So stop, and we want to get these to where they all are measured at the same time. So, and you'll see that the conditional formatting over to the right will change. There we go. Okay, so we can see that we have forecasted an additional site for this site augmenter, and these names obviously they can change. So let's go through some a little bit. Let's see what time we got. Okay, yeah, let's go through some of the techniques. What's important here, I've programmed a concurrency. So with zoning and construction permitting, sometimes those can happen at the same time. That gives it a start-to-start scheduling relationship, which means your permitting can start and your your zoning and your permitting can start at the same time. All right, and you can see we've got some other metrics out here. But now we'll go back to the dashboard where the stuff lands, and we can see already. So we put 4, and then the others I just put 3. It sums it all up to 10. And let me go back, and then we can see. So previously we had 3 across the board, and then it sums up to 9. And as of now, we have 10. So that concludes the telecommunication site acquisition telecommunication tracking that I've used for quite some time. So I hope this helps. Thank you so much.